Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Disability Landscape. I'm your host, Charlie Bros. Today with me, our regular co-host is Mark Knudsen. And Mark, how we doing today?
Good. How are you, Mr. Bros?
I'm hanging in there. Half
Keeping
blind as a
this
bat, but we'll muddle through.
right? Yeah. We'll figure it out.
So Mark, tell our audience about our guest today, and we'll get things rolling here.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting because at Disability Channel, Minnesota, and here on Landscape, well, we like to find other people that are involved in doing some media type stuff involved with the disabled population. And our guest today is Daniel Hood of Hoodwave Disability Radio. Is that correct? Or Radio Disability?
Disability Radio.
Disability Radio. Welcome, Daniel.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Now, probably should just start off a little bit. At this, you've got both two things going. You have a podcast? Is that correct?
Well, the podcast is actually part of the Hoodway Disability Radio. So now on top of that, I actually now have an online radio station that I will be able to use and being able to upload to the radio station.
Okay. Before we get into all that, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got interested in the in what you're doing?
Yeah, that's very interesting. Well, when I was younger, I was, obviously with my disability, I've been in special education, special ed, and so I've always had, I always had interest in radio. I mean, it was, believe it or not, it was cassettes at the time.
Right. Oh yeah.
You had to push the record button and you would actually record. And then I would actually pretend I would be doing that. The twins, they're what you got, the sports commentator? Am I saying?
Oh
that
yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I would actually pretend I'm doing that, and so we could actually record the Twins games when I was younger. Actually, that was a blast. Actually,
No, that's pretty cool. So what inspired you to go ahead and, start your own channel, your own internet radio station?
What's inspiring me is that I want to. What's doing that is that I realize that there's not enough stations out there for people with disabilities. It doesn't make a difference what the disability is when it comes to when I'm focusing is intellectual disabilities, but there's disabilities of all kinds, and so I don't want necessarily want to be focusing on one kind of disability because there's so many things that are going on in that.
Mark?
Okay. And then with like you mentioned a little bit, can you just touch a little bit on your disability so people kind of have an understanding of your background, if you would, Daniel?
Okay. Well, I'm actually diagnosed as DD or developmentally delayed, or it's there's so many terms now that
Right.
when that's the term that's the term that they used when I was diagnosed when I was was like 4, and
Okay.
that was actually in the 80s, believe it or not. So
Okay.
and so I had I've had it pretty tough in school. When I was in grade school, it wasn't so bad. It didn't really start getting bad until it's getting into my teenage years. That's when things started to get pretty tough.
Okay. So what kind of well, you've produced a number of blogs already. What kind of subject matter have you included in your blog so far?
The subject matter is I made a few. Well, actually, I've made a few episodes. I'm also working with a young man named Connor, and he has his own radio. He has his own podcast, and he's also doing a radio
Okay.
show, and so here's one of the other reasons why I'm trying to. So I'm trying to get other people who are doing this kind of thing to being able to give them a platform that they will be able to use. And so there's a lot of stations out there, but they really don't have the time, or that's one of the main reasons why I'm doing this whole thing.
Okay. All right. Mark, yeah, got something here for him?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you then, where do you at times, where do you come up with ideals of who to have on the podcast and that?
Yeah, well, I'll just make it easy. I'll just say it is. It's been tough because I haven't really been able to get interviews because I try to contact people and a lot of people don't know who I am. So it's been really
That's true.
tough.
Yeah,
And so that's the reason why I'm trying to find develop some networking so I can actually get the interviews. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to get my name known. And so that's exactly what
Yeah, networking is extremely important in, well, our kind of work here that we do. Mark and I with the television program, you with the radio station. Um, you know, we're gonna work with you hopefully and see if we can send a few guests your way to talk to you on your program.
That's actually pretty cool. I don't know. I actually work at the St. Paul Midway Menards, and that is where I actually ran into Nathan Berkeley.
Oh, that's
okay.
right. We had
Because
Nathan on a few weeks ago, and he plays a mean keyboard. That's for darn sure.
yeah, I actually heard him play. I mean, it's just when I found out. Well, I didn't really find out about him. I met him maybe a few seconds. I was working. I really couldn't talk to him, but
Right.
I met him. Just briefly. That was when I actually heard that he was there. I realized who he was immediately. I think that was one of the neatest things that there's one particular song when he plays it, I know who he is. I don't even have So basically what it is that there's one song that he played. I knew it. I went up there and I basically complimented him on his performance, and then he gave me his business card.
Oh yeah,
That
the
was pretty
keyboard.
cool.
That he's got a very good business card. Yeah, I guarantee you, if you asked him, he'd come on your show in a heartbeat.
Actually, I did. I did email the person who's handling his caseload.
Yes.
And so they got back to me, but I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to be able to do it yet. So and so I have to kind of think about it because I really don't have a studio. That's the other reason why I'm coming up here, because I really don't have a place to do it.
Yeah.
I'm doing
Right.
it here, but what I would like to do now is I'm trying to find ways to being able to find a studio or finding people that will be able to find, being able to help me to so I can establish a place. It's because believe it or not, my wife doesn't mind it, but she wants me to do my work elsewhere.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Mark and I are working our way through the disabled community throughout the Twin Cities so that eventually we're going to know everyone. So
Yeah,
we
it
can
seems
stand
like
up to
it.
that old stereotype that everyone with a disability knows each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other questions that you need that about? Let me rephrase that. Is there any other questions to ask me? Because you have to kind of pick my brain.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
it's Hoodwave Radio or
Hoodwave.
Disability Radio. Where does Hoodwave come from? Is that just like radio wave?
No, I actually what happened is I was trying to find something that would, because it's my last name. And so I was trying to find something because of radio wave. I was trying to figure out what I could do. And I believe it or not, my wife Leah actually she was picking my brain. Then she said,
Okay.
well, then she kind of goes, why don't you just call it Hoodwave? And so that is how it became, because she actually helped me come up with the name. And so
Yeah,
it's
sometimes our spouses are truly our better half and get us better ideas. Because I know Mark and I probably would be in deep trouble if without them.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure in that. And then when you were in high school then, um did you have any classes in any communication or
no.
yeah.
No, I have not. Well, this is talking about this is one of because I know I sent you an email talking about education. I have a vocational rehab counselor from vocational
Okay.
rehab services, and he's trying to help. He doesn't understand what I'm trying to do. He doesn't understand the
Uh,
um what's
Yeah,
the
I
word?
think it's
Kind of the
it's
concept and such.
He doesn't understand the industry. He doesn't know the industry, and that
Yeah.
is one of the things is that yeah. So I really want to do this. While he's looking into different parts of the state, I'm here I'm actually here. I can probably being able to go to school. There's a few schools, but I may not be able. He's kind of looking into maybe getting a bachelor's degree. I tell you the truth, I don't think I'm going to be able to get a bachelor's degree with my disability. And a lot of places now, radio stations will only hire people with a higher education. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I am working with a nonprofit or a nonprofit radio station now, but if you're talking about working in a big radio
A
station,
commercial station.
commercial
Right.
station, they would want to require you to have some type of degree.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
So you're hoping maybe you can get into some kind of communications class then to help you with this?
yes, well, that's exactly what I really want to being able to get behind, the microphone. It's not just the microphone, the equipment. And
Yeah.
I've always had interest in the equipment. And this was back in 1998. I actually had gathered all the information about, I had an interest in being a roadie, setting up the equipment and stuff like that. And then I bought they took it to vocational rehab services and they rejected it, saying it was too much money and you wouldn't
Yeah,
have.
that's the
Yeah.
It wasn't that well. Also, what they told me is it's just not a practical job. You won't make money.
right. Yeah, they doing the broadcasting radio type stuff. It's not the typical road, the typical path to go down. So yeah, they tend to shy away from those. So it really relies on on you to
Right. But this
yeah
is
try to work it out. Have you thought of now I believe well your friend you said you were on Connor's radio program, right?
right. It's actually Connor's Corner.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm Connor's
So,
Corner.
yeah. And so
And now they that's part of a community radio, Frogtown or something, I believe.
yeah, I've
Have
actually
you
got
have you thought of seeing if you can volunteer at a community access radio station?
that's gonna be kind of tough because of my schedule.
There is
Yeah,
that. I suppose they're only open regular business hours, which is quite unfortunate.
Right.
and maybe a Saturday.
Right. Well, because when I wanted to do this was back in 1988. I tell you, YouTube wasn't even in the works
It
yet.
wasn't even a tube yet. It was just you.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
You
Mark's
may-
a comedian.
Yeah,
Or
I
at
try
least he
to
thinks
be.
he is.
I in my own little world, I am, but you may want to because I think in St. Paul there is two different community access radio, and you may just want to look into that because they might have something in the evening or or on Saturdays. So
All right.
okay,
So Danny, where do you see this program in a year? You want to get a new guest a week at least to talk to and say, tell us about your disability and what you're doing to change the world.
That's basically it. It's not just the talk. It actually, I want to be able to not just doing talk. I actually want to be able to do a little bit more, a little bit of everything basically. And if it's like I said, some can play the piano. If they got a talent, I want to be able to, being able to, if they say there's a musician that is, say, basically can sing. I wouldn't, or basically has a producer. I wouldn't mind, playing stuff that maybe a traditional radio station wouldn't play, especially if
Yeah.
it ends up being their music, especially if somebody does have a disability and they, they're having a hard time trying to get something established. That's kind of where I'm coming into. That's
Okay.
that's what I'm providing is something
Well,
that provide.
Mark and I have been, here's a hard plug on Disability Channel Minnesota. You can see many up and coming music performers with disabilities. And, I think that's where you're looking. And, we can share their talent with you. I think they would love to talk to you and
Oh,
perform a little
right.
bit.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And
Because
like I said,
everybody's always trying to get themselves noticed.
yeah,
And that'd be a good place to do it.
because we could, I think it would be tough for them. Some of them might be able to figure a way on how to do music for you, but if you got them on to at least be interviewed, we can always take the music that they recorded with us, and you could always use that music as part of the interview and that. So it would give you some options.
it would give me option. And also there is like I said, I'm actually off on Monday. So if it ends up that, say that there's something going on, I wouldn't even mind trying to find a way to come to you and come to your studio and maybe doing it. Even though really I'm serious.
No, and that's great. Unfortunately, the studio we work out of is closed on Mondays.
Is
Yeah,
it?
Thursday we go to the studio. We do studio time the third Thursday of every month. So we're there once a month.
Oh, okay. It must.
Yeah.
You must be contracting out, something else, and it's like a library or something.
Oh, no, that's actually that. In fact, in the studio, we use the green screen. You know how the weather people have the green screen?
Oh yeah. Oh.
That background
Yeah.
is just an image using a green screen.
So yeah, we use the magic of television whenever we can.
Right.
So Daniel, when you don't have the headphones on and when you're not in front of the microphone, when you're out and about, what do you like to do? What are some of your interests, hobbies, and that?
Oh, yeah. One of my hobbies is computers. Actually, I had this actually that I was one of the things I wanted to go to school for, but now that my eyes are getting old, obviously because I'm in my 40s, I can't see the real. So that's the other reason why I was trying to find a different avenue. So I want to tell you, you can talk forever.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
that was the main reasons why I'm trying to go and do this, doing this Hoodwave and, doing radio, because you don't need technically you don't necessarily have to see to talk. So, yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah, no, I was trying to make a joke. Yeah. So that was one of the main reasons why I'm doing this. That's the other reason why I'm I'm still going to be keeping some of the computers. I can actually, with some help, I need to build a new computer. I actually want to, so of the type of work I'm doing, I need a computer that actually would work. So I actually can build them, but I will need to have some assistance because I can't see some of the components. But I can, I can upload software and Windows, believe it or not. And there's something called Linux. It's
Oh yeah.
I think operating
it's
system.
freeware.
Yep.
So, and
Linux is reserved for the real computer geeks.
well, believe it or not, I am a computer geek actually.
Then you would fit right in that world. So Daniel, plug yourself. What email can people reach you at?
Oh yeah, you can reach me at www.hoodwave.org. So that's www.hoodwave.org. And if you want me, I can spell it. So it's HOODWAVE.org.
Excellent. Then we'll be directing as much traffic as we can to your website. And, we're going to fill up those shows as quick as we can. Mark, it's about time to wrap it up. So you got any closing words here?
Well, Daniel, was great interviewing you. I look forward to working hand to hand with Hoodwave Radio and Disability Channel Minnesota. And it should be some interesting times.
So let's wrap this up here. This is Charlie Bros. I want to thank Daniel Hood for joining us today with Hoodwave Disability Radio and my co-host Mark Knudsen. Thank you everybody for tuning in. This has been another episode of Disability Landscape. We'll see you next time.